Hello and welcome to the first CMO Confidential. The hashtag for the session is CMO Truth. I'm Julia Vargiu, founder and principal of New Business Methodology, and as you've heard, I work with CEOs of agencies to help them get more business and win more clients. So over the last 20 years, across 3 continents, I've worked with hundreds of agencies, helping them build relationships with thousands of clients and generating hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business for them. So what CMOs really think is something I always want to know more about. Yet each year, when I come to Mumbrella, I find myself in the audience asking tricky questions of the CMOs on stage, questions that they can't really answer fully in public. So I thought, what if I could parody the 1960s American dating game show, but this time with a twist? Invite 4 CMOs, but keep them incognito. Then I can ask them the tough questions, and with their identities concealed, they can tell us what they really think. So my questions will move across the relationship arc, if you will, and it'll start from first meetings and flirtations through to the pitfalls of affairs and even divorce. They have promised me their answers will be frank, funny, and potentially brutal. So who are these CMOs, and why should you care what they have to say? Well, collectively, they have 94 years of marketing experience. They control a combined budget of $155 million and have an average age of 46. They have the decision-making power to hire any of these agencies on the list, so if you're one of them, I'd listen up. And they use anywhere from 5 to a dozen different types of agencies at any one time. They represent 4 of the most coveted industries that every agency I know wants on their client list, and all have spent time agency side during their careers. Interesting. We all know flirting is important to getting noticed. Mr. Alcohol, what's the best way for an agency you've never heard of to persuade you to meet with them when you don't need them and you're not looking?
A common question I get is, what keeps you up at night? And let us solve that challenge. And I'm tempted to say that what keeps me up at night are agencies calling me. And I would offer this bit of advice. Put yourself in the place of the current agency, the one that has the relationship. Do you really want to be that creepy guy that keeps sending the girl text messages and calling and trying to get in and break up the relationship?
Another boring thing that agencies say is, we are an extension of your marketing department. What a load of crap.
Well, I think the number one thing, if you're going to another country, one of the first bits of advice that you read is that you should learn the language. And sometimes going from an agency conference room into a client's boardroom is like going to another country. They speak another language there. They speak about different things. And I think if you want to help the CMO be more effective in the boardroom, then first learn the language.
They'd elevated themselves completely beyond being a simple creative agency to being a true business partner. And it was with this intricate understanding that they helped us completely smash revenue and profit targets out of the park. Look, I've never seen an agency relationship like this before and haven't seen one like that since.
Well, I think agencies need to offer more dialogue beyond the subject of creativity. So less pictures, more around market data, customer insights, market growth opportunities. I guess think like management consultants. But the irony there is the most intelligent people I've ever worked with are from advertising agencies. So why is it that management consultants can command more for their time? I think agencies just need to position themselves differently.
Adopt the right language. But you can share your insights, your successes, your failures, your challenges as a fellow business person. Then you're talking on a slightly different level to being simply a supplier with maybe a good ad, maybe a crap ad, maybe an ad someone didn't understand. You're a business person. So share that respect for each other.
The rifts between creatives and suits are just ridiculous. We know it's happening. One creative team once told one of our account managers to tell us that our debrief was complete and utter bullshit and that we could go and F ourselves. The poor thing actually relayed this to us word for word. Unbeknownst to her, that specific debrief had come directly from our CEO. So I would just urge, put your egos aside and understand whether or not you're meeting the brief or not, and support your account service team.
And I know that agency staff are stretched thin, and agencies bill out their staff to at more than 100% utilisation. So they promise one client 50% of one person's time, they promise another client 50% of someone's time, and they promise a third client 50% of that person's time.
Oh, it's when you take me for granted and you relax in our relationship. You just get a little bit too comfy. It's a little bit like you're starting to eat pizza and wear tracky pants. I need you to be sexier than that, you know? You need to change your hair every now and again, swap out your perfume, just think a little bit more about what's on my mind. So remember, you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. You've got to spice it up. You've got to throw in something interesting. Catch me off guard. Give me a purple duck every now and again.
The disappearance of the senior agency representatives who were all over us winning the business, but then slowly dissipate and pass on the relationship to junior members of the team. That's just not fair for the junior members of the team. Look, who can't hold a conversation at a CMO level or a C-suite level. It's really putting them into a hole and maybe setting them on fire. Surprise us. Keep us on our toes, understand our business, understand our category, and don't pay lip service to that. Really get into it.
One of the key causes of the relationship spinning wheels is when there's too much sweating of the small stuff, to be honest. Arguing over small things. They feel like small arguments at the time, that you end up spending 50% more time than you need to in a pissy little ad that's only going to appear in a men's toilet cubicle, and arguing the size of the price point that's in the ad. I guess it's, don't split the small stuff. It's a really slippery slope once this begins, because a couple of things happen. Agency staff become jaded. Clients then view with the agency team as too hard to work with, and they're not listening. And the second thing is this negative cycle. So the more we spend head hours on the small stuff and the more time we spend arguing, the less time there is on the big stuff, meaning the more discussions we have where you ask for more money to talk about the big stuff, and the less we want to give.
I ask myself, when should an agency tell their client that they love them? And the answer is before someone else does. I found partner swapping to be a nice way to spice things up. And the idea, well, maybe it's better called a prisoner exchange. You take one of the people from the marketing team and they go work at the agency for a week. And in exchange, someone from the agency comes and works on the marketing team for a week. Now, it may not change the whole relationship, but I guarantee it'll change the way each of them look at each other's business.
We don't pay hundreds upon thousands of dollars a year to have to correct lazy work just because an account service team or creative team either can't read a brochure or go online to understand what the features and benefits are that they're meant to be selling. It's plain annoying, lazy, and it's a time waster for us. Just go home, crack open a bowl of red and read our product set and come set with questions the next day.
I want to have the best people working at my agencies. That's what the true value is that I get from creativity, from ideas, from having eyes on the outside, looking at the big wide world. You've got to have smart people doing that on your behalf. If you want to pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys and it'll end up all shitty. So I'll make sure that you earn a decent crust so that you can get the best people, and it's a self-fulfilling spiral. Best people, best work, best client relationship, more money. It's not that complicated.
I might turn the question around a bit and ask, do agencies really want to make money? Because based on some of the remuneration proposals I've seen in pitches, I would think that the answer is no. And my one wish in the industry is that we'd be honest with each other in these pitches, and that agencies wouldn't try to lowball each other to get in and then revise the remuneration up, and that we as marketers would be realistic in looking at the proposals and evaluate them based on what we really want to get in the end.
You know, the senior management in agencies really need to take the time to steward the junior staff through the journey of time management, because we've had these conversations. The finance people come in, the account director comes in and says, look, we're burning hours, we haven't quoted enough. And look, time management is really critical in managing massive campaigns.
We knew they were different when they started proactively presenting ideas, but at the same time explaining their thoughts on how to actually adapt our internal processes and systems to make it happen. So they say great strategy is, 1% idea, 99% execution. Most agencies focus on the 1% idea. This agency focused on that and helping to deliver the 99% as well. Because usually it's up to the client to handle the 99% execution. And believe it or not, a lot of clients are not actually as creative or lateral thinkers like agency folk.
Personally, in all my years, I've only worked with 3 agencies that have truly understood the business, our pressures and the contextual environment. But the clincher is it was the same team that moved between agencies, and we took our work with the team.
You agencies, I'm going to cut you a little bit of slack on this. I reckon the client has 2 fundamental responsibilities. First is you've got to pick the right agency. Second, you've got to make it possible for that agency to succeed.
To be fair, we actually don't do a great job as clients to incentivise collaborative behaviour. I'm yet to find a model that works, so if anyone's got any ideas there, please let me know. But I guess we're talking about a complex thing like relationships where, you know, it isn't a black and white topic. And threesomes are always going to get complicated, aren't they?
But being good isn't good enough anymore. We need to be surprised, and those agencies who seize that opportunity to create our future with us will be the ones that gain the respect from marketers everywhere.